We ain't gonna let nobody
turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. We ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, heading for the freedom land.
Well, we ain't gonna let Jim Crow
Turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. We ain't gonna let.
Stephen Girard, a great man, created a great school in a great city. His school is rooted in the fundamental greatness that is America. Girard believed in a fundamental education for all. The man who had the dream and gave his millions provides an education free for boys who qualify. Thousands yet to come will share in this noble heritage, the living embodiment of the legacy of a great America.
What the Negro population of this country has been fighting all these years is embodied in the Girard College philosophy. That is the philosophy of exclusion and also the philosophy of 1831, which is reaching over and attempting to influence events in 1965.
My name is Karen Asper Jordan. I lived in 23rd and Thompson. My father's family lived on College Avenue across the street from Girard College. If I was upstairs in my grandmother's window, I'd just look out and watch the kids play. Those boys at Girard College, some of them would sneak over the wall to go to the store.
We would see the students, the young white guys, coming from Girard College, because we would sit out on the stoop, just watching the traffic and the trolleys, going by.
This may be the last afternoon that the streetcars are the only thing that pass Girard College here in North Philadelphia with any degree of regularity. For late this afternoon here in Philadelphia, Judge Waters handed down this opinion, this order, which denies a request by the trustees of Girard College to keep Cecil Moore and the NAACP from resuming their picketing here. They're picketing part of a drive to have Negro orphans enrolled in this all-white school that has been all-white since it was founded by Stephen Girard back in 1831.
Growing up a block away, you had to see the wall every day, and people in general talked about it was an institution for all white males.
It was right in our neighborhood. Here you have this golden structure right in our community, and I'm forbidden to go there.
Yeah, we just look at the kids. We knew we couldn't go to the school for white boys. But when the call came out, that's what we did.
Cecil B. Moore, at the time, the president of NAACP, said that they were going to go to Girard College. We're going to agitate and try to push the courts and push the dialogue,
People said, it's not for us, so who wants to go over there anyway? But Cecil's position was that this is illegal. You're in the heart of a black community, and you're denying someone access to something that is in the heart of their community. So the will being contested was a matter of another kind of psychological battle being waged.
These boys have been waking up a long time, and their mothers and their fathers woke up a long time looking at something that was in America that they couldn't have. And we think we're just about getting close enough so we can have it. Now, we want to make sure that this is not the end of Girard College. This is only the beginning of the wall tumbling down.
People were very curious about the fact that someone would have the audacity to challenge this white man's will, a dead white man at that, so who couldn't speak for himself. So a lot of people sort of consider that there's no way you can break a men's will. That's against the law, that's against the Constitution, or whatever paralegal thoughts they had to bring to it. Is you can't do that, you'll never do it.
They asked Cecil one time, they said, Mr. Moore, you're coming to Girard College, what are you gonna do when you get there? He said, I'm gonna do just what the Marines taught me to do. I'm going over the wall. Cecil got a shotgun, oh yeah. I said, Cecil gonna use it. I said, Cecil got a shotgun, oh yeah. I said, Cecil gonna use it. We said, na 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 na. I said, do you want your freedom? Oh yeah. Good old freedom. I said, we want freedom. Oh yeah. Good old freedom.
Cecil served in the South Pacific, which meant storming beaches. Marine Corps at the time was not integrated. Cecil was recognized for both administration as well as command, and he took that responsibility very seriously. He was transferred to Philadelphia. He was still in the Marine Corps. Went to Temple University's law school and set up a law practice.
Cecil comes out of the war. He can't believe that Girard College is sitting in the middle of the biggest black neighborhood of Philadelphia, and black children can't attend.
You're talking about a symbol that was practically begging for frontal assault.
There had been people fighting for the desegregation of American society in the North. We were always led to believe that the problem was really a Southern problem and not a Northern problem.
Our indoctrination came from television because you saw the injustices down south. So when they said they were going to get the black kids in Girard College, of course we were on board.
Philadelphia needed to change, and this was someone who was taking steps to make sure it actually happened.
When Cecil took over the NAACP, it didn't have the sort of confrontational legacy, so to speak. And there were so many issues that need to be addressed right away and, sort of radically.
He reaches out to the grassroots and builds the largest NAACP in the country at over 21,000 members.
He set it up like a military. He had his lieutenants. He even organized the youth. We had formed a group called the Young Militants. And that was sort of different because NAACP is known as a nonviolent group. Cecil B. Moore said that they were going to go to Girard College and agitate.
Cecil had a meeting with the group the night before, and it was supposed to be a surprise. But when they got to the wall, there was wall-to-wall police officers.
And so when we got there that morning, May 1st, around 6 o'clock in the morning, we were amazed because there were hundreds of police officers just circling the whole Girard College wall. This was it, there were barricades, there were police, and we were there. The thing is to get inside, just to say, we're coming in here, we were denied, but we're gonna come in. A couple of people tried to go over the wall, but they were arrested.
That morning, I heard the noise of the motors. They were circling the wall, and I could tell something was going on because I was only 2 blocks away and I could see that there were barricades. I discovered that this was a demonstration for the integration of the school. That's when I started to meet people. Kenneth Salam, we call him Freedom Smitty at that time. We became a very cohesive contingent under Cecil B. Moore. I became a soldier, I became a real freedom fighter.
The NAACP started picketing here May 1st. The picketing continued every day, then every night, and led to yesterday's filing in Philadelphia Federal Court of legal action on behalf of 7 Negro boys, ages 6 to 9. They were turned down this week for enrollment at Girard College because of their race.
We intend to make Philadelphia a national disgrace, a national shrine of bigotry, And we won't waste our time doing anything except marching around to make sure that Girard College students can't study if we can't study.
They started May 1st. After school, we would go up and we would walk singing songs till maybe about 10 in the evening.
We were on the way around to Girard College, and one of the police officers said something to us. He cursed at us or something. And when we got around to the front of Girard College, I said, I'm going to tell Mr. Moore. Now, I can't tell you today how I knew about Cecil, but I did. And I went up to him and I said, Mr. Moore, I said, those police officers were messing with us and they were cursing at us. And Cecil said, they're not going to be messing with my damn people. That was it for me. And I started to go around.
We're rolling. Mr. Moore, how do you expect to comply with the judge's order that prohibits scaling the walls to Girard College?
We will go around the wall, we will sing. We think that the only purpose of the picketing is directed to the conscience of the immoral, unconscionable, illegal, unlawful, stubborn, obstinate, storm-trooping bigots that represent the trustees at Girard College.
It wasn't our goal to breach the wall, but it was to be vigilant about this. We have a right to demonstrate, we have a right to voice our resistance to what's going on here. So that was the energy of the whole demonstrating period of time for that 7 months.
We didn't know we were going to stay there that long. It wasn't a one day, go there and make a statement and we leave. We were prepared for a long haul.
We'll be there tomorrow. We'll continue to be there till we go through the gates without any necessity of having to scale the wall.
We marched 7 months, 17 days, day and night, and there was always somebody around the clock.
And no matter who was there, somebody always took over. We had a lot of talent out there. We had good people, and we were all young.
Holly, yeah! Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Turn me around. I said, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We're gonna keep on, yeah, keep on talking, yeah, working up the freedom. Well, we ain't gonna let no Uncle Tom. Turn us around. We ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We gonna keep on walking, hey, keep on talking, heading up the freedom land. Well, we ain't gonna let them go. Turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. We ain't gonna let them go. Turn us around. We gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, heading up the freedom land.
We have accomplished what we started to accomplish, which was to shock the conscience of the United States, especially northern United States.
Cecil was a warrior.
They made it like Cecil was the leader to bring down the walls of Jericho, and that attracted young people.
And you know, young people have that feeling that nothing's going to happen to them. We're idealistic. We had heart.
Cecil represented strength, and he backed it up. And when you see men who have been beat down, just based on the color of their skin, and you see one of those men stand up, it strengthens other men and makes them stand up.
And I think that's why I was able to fight against adversity, because of that strong sense of self.
I really had a great admiration for him. He had a voice that touched people's raw emotions. It was iconic. Cecil B. Moore move was to hold that cigar this way and talk, and you could not refute what he had to say.
Gentlemen, and I guess I'm speaking to the public, to the skeptical public, after 155 years, we had knocked down the walls of bigotry. The Supreme Court's judicial power reaffirmed what a unified black power of the streets can do. Of course, we think that this is only one of the first walls we've got to knock down. There's so many more.
Your fight for freedom made these walls come tumbling down.
When I was 16 years old, the walls were pretty high, 10-foot high walls. When I go by there now, they look small.
We persevered, and I just believed we were going to do this. And everybody wasn't for us. And a lot of people didn't think we were going to be successful, but we were.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Shine on dry college, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, shine on dry college, I'm gonna let it shine. Shine on dry college, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We were used to having different flows and ebbs of people.
But it wasn't popular in the African-American community as far as participation. But when Dr. King came there, it really swelled.
Dr. King, when he's invited, and not by Cecil, when he's invited by others, was not embraced by most blacks in the Northeast corridor. He was largely in the South.
We didn't believe in the philosophy of the nonviolence because we were from the North.
You had to be militant to get something done.
If you wanted people to come out and protest, they usually called the young militants.
Nonviolence was okay, but we were not going to just sit around and let things happen to us.
Prior to King coming, there was confrontations. There were arrests. One night, the police ran their motorcycles on the sidewalk while we were marching. It wasn't something everybody said, I'm gonna go and support this.
In the meetings we had in Cecil B. Moore's office about the impending visit, the idea was to keep the focus on the Girard College demonstrations, to deflate some of that hype that there was some division between Dr. King and Cecil B. Moore.
And Dr. King said, I'm not here for divisiveness.
Cecil had his philosophy, and Dr. King had his, but they put those things aside, and they came to that common ground with Girard College.
Our struggle in this nation is a common struggle. We've had numerous people from Philadelphia and from other communities to come down south and join